So here's another impromptu recipe. I had some potatoes that I needed to use up, and I was thinking, what if we made a sort of fried rice out of them? So bear with me, and we'll see how it turns out. Here's the potatoes. I'm going to start by shredding them with a box grater. I wish I had a sort of medium grate on this grater. It's either fine or coarse. I think something a little bit bigger would make a little more sense. But once I had them all grated, here's how much I got out of that. I squeezed most of the water out as much as I could, threw it in my strainer, and tried to squeeze a little bit more out. I'm doing this with one hand since I don't have a phone mount for my tripod yet, so it's a little bit hard to film. Apologize for any shakiness in this video. And I got sent this new knife from a company called Nakano out of Japan, and I wanted to try it out. So not sponsored, but a free knife, although I don't really feel obligated to omit any negatives about it. So it's got sort of a hybrid shape between a classic French chef's knife and more of a Japanese profile. You'll see that the top edge kind of tapers down. It's got a nice olive wood handle, and the weight is balanced pretty much over the bolster. This is a high carbon stainless steel, so I won't have to avoid rust here. It's also very lightweight. So I need to mince some garlic for this, so I'll start out with that. Cutting through the paper and the stems is super easy. They really sharpened the blade quite finely, although that's just the initial sharpen, so we'll see how it holds up over time. It's got a little bit of a narrow profile, so finding the sweet spot to smash the garlic was a little bit less assured than my European style knives or my Chinese cleavers, obviously. Again, the blade is super thin and sharp, so as I'm chopping here, it cuts through without any effort, but the weight distribution was something that I wasn't really used to here. Since the weight is a little closer to my hand, it felt much lighter where I was actually cutting. So in these chopping motions, I didn't feel as sure of where my knife was going to land each time. Next up, I've got some frozen meatballs that I had to get rid of. I just blasted these in the air fryer for a few minutes, and I'm going to mince these as well. Sorry about the autofocus here, but slicing application seems to be where this knife shines. It really glides through the meat like butter, and I can imagine breaking down a chicken with this would be really nice. This sort of rock and chop movement is also a strong suit, since the weight distribution sort of guides the knife where it wants to go. So yeah, definitely a unique knife, and I think it's gained a spot on my knife bar, although I'm not super particular about what goes there, as you can see by my bread knife. If you want to get yourself one of these knives, you can follow the link in the description and use the discount code KevinAllOver, all caps, one word. Alright, now that all of our prep work is done, I'm going to throw my $10 TJ Maxx wok over medium-high heat. I did just use this for my daughter's dinner, so I'm going to wipe out the extra water, spray it down with some oil, and throw in those potatoes. Now, I started out with a stir-fry spatula technique of just trying to shuffle the stuff around and keep it over a high heat, and that wasn't really working. These potatoes are a little too thin, like I said, and a little too wet, so I went ahead and turned down the heat to medium-low, and now I'm going to go for more of a press and fold technique. Press it down, try and get some browning on the potatoes, and then scrape it up and fold it over, and keep doing this until the potatoes are mostly cooked and hopefully get a little bit browner. Next, I threw in the minced garlic. I have this like Caribbean themed frozen vegetable medley, so I'm going to throw in a handful of that. It's got beans, corn, peppers, some sort of greens, and some seasoning. Mix it in, try and cook out a little bit of the moisture. And then I'll add in the meatballs. Toss those around for a few minutes to incorporate. I'm going to season with just a little bit of salt because there's some seasoning in the meatballs as well as the vegetable medley. We'll also add in some chili flake just for some spice. Toss it around for a few minutes and serve it on up. And I'm constantly washing dishes, so don't mind me as I put everything back into the bowl that was holding the meatballs. So this turned out really interesting. It's not really a fried rice texture. It's a little bit dry, so it could use some sort of like fat in there. Maybe if I threw like some roast pork, that would do well. Maybe a drizzle of oil at the end. And you don't really taste the potatoes. They kind of get overwhelmed by all of the other seasoning that's in there. What I didn't expect is the vegetable medley has a lot of warming spices, which I guess is their interpretation of Caribbean flavor. So there's like some ginger, some cloves, some cumin, white pepper. Yeah, different flavor profile than I thought this was going to turn out to. But it was interesting, you know. I think, you know, if you're gonna try this out, I would try and actually just make a hash brown and you know, fully fry it, then break it up and add in any sort of fillings that you want on top of that. But interesting technique. I might try this again. We'll see.